Well, hello people, and welcome to part 45 of Egginburgh, our Cities Skylines 2 launch build. I hope we're having a wonderful day. And the city's really come alive recently, hasn't it? There's been some nice sightlines developed over the last few episodes. Today I want to work on the road frame we prepared absolutely ages ago to build a custom stadium for the first time in the city. Now, of course, we built the training ground for this football team quite a while ago now, just down the highway from here. So that is where we'll get started with today. So heading back through Yorkshire, really love coming back to the UK part of the map. Really nice, isn't it? Super cute. And I think we'll keep the UK theme running down this side of the map as well. It's going to make sense, isn't it, I think? But all this hillside we can cover in UK housing. And part of some UK industry around the bottom of the rail over here too. Maybe we can change the train station up. So with custom stadiums, these things are really cool. There's obviously many different configurations you can do depending on what sport you want. You can get decals off of Paradox mods if you want baseball, for example. Sully has an excellent collection that you can find. But in this particular case, I am going for actual football in the form of soccer, if you will, for our international viewers. So the first thing we want to do is open up Better Bulldozer, refine down to sub-elements, and then we just want to trim everything off, basically. But the pitch itself, and I'm even going to take away this surface too. Which of course then leaves us with a exposed pitch. So in Find It, come in and search for sports stands. And then this will bring up a selection of assets here to also expand our interface. So there's all different shapes and sizes of these. We'll use pretty much most of them today. I'm looking to create not kind of a major, kind of colossal venue, not like 100,000 capacity kind of thing, just a kind of tasteful local 30 to 40,000 capacity waterfront stadium, I think, something like that. So with these, of course, we want anarchy on. You can place them in a number of configurations. Of course, these are kind of the tops because they have the roofs on them, the covers. But we can also find smaller ones without the roofs. So, of course, with these, what we want to do is, let's grab this one for prime example. And we'll put this one has a tunnel on it, doesn't it? So let's pretend this is almost where players emerge out onto the pitch. And we'll have that just lined up with the edge of the texture, which will line that up, of course. So of course now the process is just to line them up with Move It as we go. Opening Find It again, you'll also notice that there are corners, so we can get around here if you want, if you don't just want straight boxes. Although some stadiums are like this, so don't be afraid of doing it. You don't have to use the corners everywhere. So let's move into a little sports stand time lapse, shall we? And then we'll be back once we have that initial shell. So I was in the process of building up some more stands, but I kind of like the idea of this is the original arena, and just in recent times they've added some new upper stands, which will also have really wonderful views across the city as well when you actually come to enjoy a match day here. Great views of the bridge, superb views actually of Inverness, of course the university over here, medical institution, of course the skyline itself, the canals. Very cool. Really like that. Obviously, it's nowhere near done. We need to sort this out. So let's discuss a bit of an outer shell for the stadium itself. Now, I know an asset I've been wanting to use for this for ages. One of the commercial signature uniques. I'm pretty sure it's the Auto Center. It is the Auto Center. Wonderful. So, of course, the final position of all this isn't kind of super exact yet. So let's decide where we want our stadium to be. Then we'll have it right here. And then let's drag this in. So I'm happy to almost maintain a little bit. So I've left this corner open here, almost like for access purposes. Something you often see quite a lot is the corners of the stadiums are open and there's kind of coaches or just general stadium admin going on behind there, if you like. So I think the back of the Auto Center, let alone the front of it, is going to be really well positioned to kind of serve that purpose. So again, with the Auto Center, it's something we're going to want to trim off quite a bit. Want to get rid of the surfaces around it. Definitely a lot of the fencing as well. We'll do our own fencing as we go on. And then I think we'll also delete the sub-element parking too. I was thinking maybe leave it on, but we'll do our own. But no, I think we will actually leave it there. Cool. So we really trim that down. Let's just go ahead and find a straight up fuse for it. Thinking something around here. Obviously we only have so much room to go with, but if we can angle it right so we can see that as kind of the front of the stadium, if you will, and then all this space here that's opened up we can have as the kind of, I guess, team arrival as opposed to, if you like. Yeah, I think I'm on board with that idea with the Auto Center. It's going to work, isn't it? I think just given the shape of the Auto Center, it almost wants to be kind of there, doesn't it? Which is fine. When everything comes back away from being bobbed, we can most certainly blend that in, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with that there. So I've spent the last 3 weeks scrolling through Find It, trying to find an asset that I'm happy with as the case for this. Gone ahead and grabbed a couple of new mods off of the Paradox store, or the Paradox mods rather. We have the static ploppables zoned buildings, which gives us the ability to place pretty much any building in the game, be it service or zoned, as a prop. And this can be moved into the ground if you wish. Much better than plot the growables here because they terraform if it's an actual functional asset. This way we can move things around without them affecting the terrain, and they essentially just become props, which is amazing for creating a shell, kind of a case, which is exactly what we want here. So I have the ploppable service buildings in particular, and I am going to come up to our police tab here and I want to grab the urban police headquarters. This is a gorgeous asset, looks really, really nice. And then once we've moved it into a position on the stadium, that would be quite fancy. I think we'll go for about there. I just want to select it again with move it, and then just by using the page up and down keys, I just want to find a place where I'm happy for this to sit. So with these, they do behave a little strangely with move it, so I just want to bring them into a position in here where I'm going to be happy for it to sit. It's got a bit of a slightly flatter face on it. So how do we feel about that there? We can blend these props into some kind of delivery area during our detail and time-lapse, I'm sure. But otherwise, in terms of how that sits against the stadium, I think I'm going to be pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to bring it down a little bit. But first of all, we'll get them all placed in the configuration that we want. And then I think to cover this side with the stands, we're going to go for the Japan City office, which again, once it's all sunken down, I think should look rather tremendous. Let's go ahead now and use move it. We'll just go ahead. We are filtering for buildings here. We just want to select these 4 on the side. Yeah, very close to the selection of some seats, so you want to make sure you don't grab them as well. Now we just want to use page down, of course, and we'll Find a happy spot for them. I do want them to be quite low because, of course, I want to maintain that view to the skyline that we talked about. But I do want kind of a little bit of that kind of steel web design to be visible, if you like. It's definitely sort of a reason we've gone with that aesthetic, right? And don't think that's too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Even the office buildings don't look too bad there, actually, but we'll bring them down as well. But we've even got a sign, the Bensel Arena, which is great, isn't it? This is a really great example of CS2's kind of like modular building format using props and stuff. I absolutely love doing this. It's a real feature of the game I've come to enjoy. Kind of almost like a built-in procedural objects almost, isn't it? It is, it really is a lot of fun. All doable with just 3 mods as well, right? It's not like it's kind of overly complicated. And then with these guys here, I think we'll just want to bring them down to the... Oh, there you go. We can see, I also see dragging some of the stands there. Let's make sure we're not doing that. I think I just want to bring these 3 to the point where they're about there, I reckon. I definitely want all of that roof showing. And that should also give us essentially kind of, you know, hospitality boxes at the top of the stadium there as well, right? Great choice of asset. Give myself a huge pat on the back for that one. That's worked out tremendously well. And then we can blend this in with the walkway that comes around the stadium too. Alright, so how wonderful is that? I really, really like that. First of all, but next, we need to give this a road connection. So I think we'll just come out from here. Let's kind of come straight up. Now we'll do a bit of pedestrianisation around here as well, I think. Include some shopping assets. We'll also send this road down as well. It's likely we'll continue to develop this waterfront with future builds as this town does begin to grow out. So you can just go over there for right now. And then I think with this road itself, so already I know we'll go with pedestrian street here. So let's grab a medium road. So I think likely with the edge of the stadium here for a bit of a walkway. Let's force keys to the right hand side of our pedestrian street here. And then we'll have this road in a slightly different shape. I don't want things to get kind of too boxy around here, if you know what I mean. Let's change our key side here, and then just bring this all the way around the edge of the stadium. Cool. So there's a sort of shell and frame for everything. That's looking absolutely wonderful, isn't it? I really, really like that. Very, kind of smaller Premier League team sort of stadium, isn't it? It's like, kind of like better championship, maybe. I like it. Good. And it has a view here. So let's have a look at some surfaces for the front of our stadium here as well. We'll kind of think I go with a mass tile and then chisel out some finer shapes using some more highlightable textures, I think. So the bucket tool can give us a bit of a sample of what we want. Oh, I really like this one. That's the herringbone grey tile. Yeah, I think straight away. I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold on this one here. Sure. So if we fill it in with the bucket, it will be all different orientations, so that's not what we want to do in this case. Let's go ahead and delete the surfaces. And then what we want to do is grab that surface again that we want. Come out of the area bucket tool. And then just fill this in across the green spaces that we want it to fill. I think we'll reserve maybe a little bit of green space actually. Let's only take this texture up to here where these boxes are. And then we can detail a bit of a stadium admin yard there if you like. And then I just want to keep this running along the inside of those stadium pieces. You can also run out here as well. Keep it running up this way. It's likely we'll have pedestrian access coming from the road too. That definitely makes sense. And then we'll run this out for a little bit. Maybe let's say just in line with the pedestrian road there. And then we'll blend that into something. If you have any other ideas for what we should build along this waterfront, so it's quite the space to fill. Do get them in the comments below. And then we'll see what we can do, right? How about that? That's pretty snazzy, isn't it? Love it. Really like how this is coming together. You can probably tell I'm enjoying today's build. I've been very complimentary of it. But that's going to be great. So I'd love to get something out here if we could. Kind of an actual plopped building, because that way we'll get people walking up the pedestrian streets to come and access it as if the stadium is actually functional, which will be fun, I think. So we'll try and factor that in. whilst we are here, I did mention possibly replacing the train station, because since we built this town frame, like 1,000 content creator packs have released and 2 creator packs. So we have some new train stations to play with, so I think it'd be a bit of a shame to stick with the vanilla one now. So which one do we want to consider? There's been some real nice ones. Should we have a look? We got money to burn, haven't we? We can have a little look here. So we have the French one. There's the historical train station, which is quite nice. And then there's the central train station as well. This one is a beautiful station, isn't it? I really do like that, actually. I'd probably say it's the most sort of UK looking as well, maybe. I'd probably say so. For this one as well, definitely UK. This one's a bit more smaller town, I think. Which could be appropriate for the setting we're in, actually, because it does have the bridge going over it. And how many lines are we currently using at the minute? There is 3. And this station does come with 3, so is that a deciding factor? Probably is. It probably is. Let's get rid of those, and then we will delete this for right now. We'll break a few lines. There are quite a number of lines coming in here. And then let's grab our new train station in about there. Now this will probably want a road of its own because it's going to be quite set back. The station roof does just poke through. Oh, I do like it here though. Is there the height to play with on this bridge node? That's as much as we can clear it. That's quite the bump in the bridge though, isn't it? And even then it's a snug fit. Yeah, it's just not going to work here, I don't think, is it? No, I'll have to rethink our decision. In that case then, maybe cute and French is the order of the day. Gonna go for that one. Need to reposition some office zoning slightly here, but it'll do, I think. I think we'll go with this one. And then with the front of this, let's just line up with the parking roads on the actual asset itself. And then we've got some more room for detailing out here as well, haven't we? Also get those train stations hooked back in as well. And we've also got another road down here as well. It might be a fun place actually to utilise one of the new cul-de-sac roads here too, actually. Let's see if we can drag this out a little bit. Do something a bit more interesting with the end of the road here. Yeah, that's a bit more entertaining than just a straight flat edge, isn't it? And detail all this up to it. And our people are using our station. Wonderful. So everything is back in order. Oh, I also missed another one of these things over here too. I think actually with this one, we can just go straight alongside the station and then connect that back into the main road. Cool. So I'm much happier with one of the new stations in here. Now I did mention some industry in here. Thankfully, Egginburgh's demands have started to shift. Who knew? We have commercial demand for the first time, possibly in what feels like forever. Let's watch the cargo train come through. Isn't that wonderful? It's very entertaining to get to the later stage in CS2. It's a lot of fun to watch the city just move around. When you have the train lines and that, to see huge cargo trains just moving across the city back in the day. Lots of fun. It's quite a busy high street down here as well, isn't it? Where are you guys coming from, I wonder? Ah, this is getting use. Interesting. God, look how far they're walking down here. Holy smokes. Do you guys want a bus? Should probably give you a bus, shouldn't we? Okay, well that's really cool then. They're all walking back down to Yorkshire. All coming to the pub, up to the heath. Which is cool. I like that. Very nice indeed. Wonderful. So new train station in. Does this one actually have a bus upgrade? It might be worth actually doing it since we just saw that line. It has upgrades for just side bits basically. It's okay though, we can add our own buses in. We'll do a road here. Let's just add a straight up bus shelter straight out the front of the station here. And then we'll also stick a system through Yorkshire as well. Let's have it come definitely down the main street. Where do we want to go here? We could loop it out of the town back through this way. Actually, yeah, let's come back up through the school. Let's just loop around here. So stop here on the way in and out of town. Then you can come up this way, stop by the supermarket, stop again by the school, and that should be okay. So let's get that flowing. Cool, so with that in, to satisfy some of the industrial demand around here, I'd love to have some of the larger factories, now not the unique factories, I'm still talking zoned buildings here, aligned with the bridge itself, which I think will give us some really nice orientation, some really nice angles against the bridge here. So let's come into our industry. We want to come into buildings. Let's open up our find it filters. We want to go for the big assets, so let's filter for 6, and then come into our industrial. So something quite tall. So we've got some of these warehouses here. I think these would look really sweet up against the bridge here in a mass pattern, which is nice. That's going to give our chain some storage. Let's see if we can get some manufacturing knocking about as well. Let's get some of that in. So as we come down off the bridge here, which I actually do need to reset, don't I? Let's go ahead and fix this. There we go, that's much better. This should now have some pretty cool industrial views as you come down off the bridge here. Really, that's exactly the viewpoint I wanted, kind of driving along industrial infrastructure here as you approach up the bridge. Alright guys, I do think the bridges in CS2 are a little bit thin. A little bit papery, aren't they? I feel like I could do this being a bit deeper. I don't know, maybe bridges are like that. I can't really picture the depth of a bridge. Now I come to think of it. But either way, we have some really fun concepts in here, so let's move into detail and time-lapse and expand them. Lots of prop work and fun to do in the open spaces here. And then also find something to place on the road so we can actually attract people to walk up and down the pedestrian roads. Detail up our industrial area with more plopped buildings, surfaces and props and whatnot. And then let's generally settle in our new town centre, which will look really cool with the stadium and the trains passing through here as well when it's all done. Let's get stuck into it, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, let's take a look around the start of the brand new town, shall we? Which has been named Rbridge, courtesy of Kerry Atkins. I asked you guys for name suggestions on this about 2 months ago, because it's just been crazy with other projects in the city. So we finally put it out here. Thank you for the name suggestion, Kerry. Was the most voted when we asked that ages ago. But either way, have a look around. So we have a little industrial park over here with some zoned assets in. Some businesses have filled out, others are waiting to receive a business. But either way, I'm trying to zone in as much industry as possible because I really want the supply chain to try and balance out. So we'll let it zone where it can at least. Across the other side of the bridge, we have a recycling centre in. We did have some garbage demands for Egginburgh, and I thought this would be a great little industrial drive-by to sit as part of our industrial estate here. All kind of framed by this big arterial connection heading back into the city centre. So that you can see kind of the road rise up the hill there as well in the very far distance, right? Super cool. Got lots of industry and service around here. There's a bit of fence detailing, industrial zoning mixed into with some more office space, and plenty of trees. Some rocks and trees around our rail line as it heads into the station. I'm much happier with this more kind of discrete number. It's a really nice building, this one. So I really like how that sits in. Some custom parking spots around some awkward bits where we had some commercial plopped in and fusing. Just waiting for that commercial demand spike again to get some businesses in. And then this backs up onto our little cul-de-sac. Of course, since that update has come in since we last recorded Egginburgh. So we'll definitely explore some more of that new update in the city as well in upcoming episodes. The bus is wonderfully busy. Plenty of people taking this back into Yorkshire, which is great to see. If we head back to the UK town, we can hopefully see some people waiting at the stops here, which is wonderful. And then we had one outside the school as well, didn't we? Yeah, over here. So really cool. Now, how cool was that to see them all walking? And now, I mean, I guess I would assume it's not as busy anymore, right? Yeah, it's much quieter, isn't it, with that bus line there now only. The occasional soul can be seen walking down the river pathway, but at least it's still getting a little bit of use. There's a few people knocking about here. So that's really cool. The great example of seeing the Sims pick up the public transport there, wasn't it? All now using those buses to get back to the train station. Which of course takes them to Inverness station, which is a place where they can change onto multiple different lines all across the city from over here. You see this is the red train that actually heads back to Rbridge over here as well, which sounds dangerously close to Lethbridge, doesn't it? I would love to know if there's anyone in the comment section that knows what Lethbridge is. That would be wonderful. Very, very cool. Yes, anyway, regardless, there's also parks under here. Office buildings underneath the bridge is all very active and alive, which is cool. Same over here as well, a bit of commercial, and then some towers over here as well. Arriving into our stadium, I'm thoroughly happy with how this has turned out. I really love the shell. I love the use of these office buildings to give us some like directors kind of hospitality boxes. Really, really cool. Around this entrance, we fenced it all off, dropped in lots of vehicle props in here, coaches, ambulances. There's kind of mass prop storage in here, safety barriers you imagine would be used quite a lot by the stewards. There's a bird there, is there? Yeah, there's a bird floating there. I'm not sure what's happened there. I didn't place those in. They're just there. So there's some birds here as well. There's some cones, crates, police cars, coaches, all the usual stuff you'd expect to find around a stadium. And then just, I love it. I think it's a really cool little area. I detail all this up here. Plopped in some car parking. We have 3 medium plots all here. And then some of the new multi-story backed onto this where the build ends. And don't forget to get those name suggestions, or well, the suggestions for what else you want to see on this waterfront, because we've got quite a bit to develop. I'll probably take it up to about here, I reckon. So we've probably got 1 or 2 more builds in this waterfront here. So yeah, really fun ideas. Anything you'd like to see, get them in the comments below. But we do have some multi-story car parking in here for our stadium, which then all spills out onto this big walkable pedestrianised bit, which is really nice. Love that you can see the garbage bags in there too, actually. Nice little detail there, isn't it? Really fun. Yes, and then this texture joins up with the front, also fused in a kind of prop Japanese medical center as another entrance into the stadium, which I think worked out really nicely, didn't it? You have to excuse the Japanese writing, of course, but you know, you can pretend it's sponsored if you like. And then this wraps around back to those big red steel mesh things. And then there's some like prop work along here. I decided against putting in another building here. I really didn't want to disturb the mesh of like the steel, so didn't end up placing anything down here. And then with this space here, I wanted to keep it quite minimalistic. Oftentimes these big forecourts outside stadiums are just open because there's thousands of people moving around it on a match day. So just some light advertising boards, a couple of benches looking out over the big bridge here. Of course, back to the city centre view over there as well, which is just so cool. And then a little bit of light eating, some table work and whatnot. And then just more kind of general overflow and sort of stadium admin, if you like here. Containers, crates, barrels, generators. Blending in those crates that came with the auto center building. All this stuff over here, pallets, cones and whatnot. Which has all been fenced in and surfaced up. Also using these little gates here kind of at an angle to imitate like an actual sort of closing gate, if you like. We've got a few of these around where you would expect to find them. So the whole stadium district turned out just really, really well, and a nice little sort of industrial town centre as well, if you like to enjoy as part of this. And we'll certainly spend some further episodes in the future in this part of the maps. There's plenty to develop. Otherwise, a massive shout out to the patrons that help support the channel, with a roll call to our Golden Eggs, Louis Adlam, Andrew Perez, Oh Hey Casino, and Phoenix MD. If you want to get involved in that, links to Instant Gaming and Patreon are the best ways to support the channel, if you so wish. Otherwise, I hope seeing the process of laying out custom stadia has helped you kind of pick up some inspiration today. They're really cool. If you haven't seen the competition on Sully's channel, he ran it in his community. He did some kind of build-offs with custom stadiums in his community, and there was some incredible ideas there. I think the winner was a Fenway Park recreation. Incredibly cool. So check out Sully's channel as well if you haven't seen that for some more stadium inspiration. But there's so much you can do with them, especially with those vanilla ploppable buildings. There's just endless combinations of whatever sort of sport you want to do with, whatever kind of stadium. And I've really enjoyed Egginburgh's today at the new town or Rbridge. Otherwise, let's wish you a very happy new year. This should be out on New Year's Day, so I hope you have had a safe and happy one at that, and I look forward to making many more videos for you as we move into 2025. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. I just thank you all so much indeed for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.